In this video, I'm gonna talk about how I got COVID and it weakened my ego. Now, just to be clear, I don't believe that you need to kill your ego, but I do know for a fact that a lot of times what we see as bringing us down in this world has a lot to do with our own ego being wanting to be comfortable in the position of knowing where it stands. And ego is cool because it's definitely a great defense mechanism, but it can also really hold you down. And I'm going to explain how my body being weakened also gave way for me to weaken my ego and allow my true self to shine. So, for the first 2 years that COVID happened, I didn't get it. Like, I was feeling pretty good about it. Not only had I now been given the opportunity to allow my body and my brain to rest, but I also started incorporating some healthy habits like drinking less. I was working on smoking less weed. Eventually got down to not doing it. I started eating less beef. I completely cut out pork. And I became a lot more aware of how to keep my internal environment stabilized by using supplements as well as using teas and herbs to help regulate and stimulate my body to doing the things that will have it functioning properly. So people will tell me they get COVID, and I'm just like, do this, that, and the third. One, we could do prevention, but two, there are also a lot of physical things that you could do to keep yourself feeling better in the midst of it. And I'm like, I got this stuff down to a T. And I would get clients who would text me and let me know, like, hey, I've gotten COVID, or we would be in group settings with my friends and someone would come down with it, and I just like, ooh, oh, well, if you need any teas or anything, let me know, sis, because I got you with immunity. And I was feeling really good about that. Just like not even, no, it was a lot to do with ego, but also with my past showing me like, I'm good, I'm protected. And in that protection, with that built up immunity, or at the very least my body being able to defend itself efficiently against invasion, to where I felt no effects, and when my blood felt no effects, because I had gotten tested for COVID after traveling internationally and after all of these people saying that they'd gotten it and never tested positive. So I'm just like, so anyways, I then began to develop a bit of hubris, feeling invincible. And it's a great feeling, but it also leaves you a little bit vulnerable because in my case, I began to start slipping on all of the methods that I had recently adopted in the last 2 years. So I didn't start eating pork again, but the beef, the drinking, I didn't start smoking again, but drinking is highly acidic, produces so much mucus, and that's where bacteria thrives. I slowed down on my supplements. I also wasn't as active doing my lymph massages, like clearing out my own system in all the ways that I knew how. And I went out for a weekend. A friend was in town, so I'm showing out, and I usually stick to beer and wine because it's easier for me to stay fuller, absorbing less alcohol in the setting. But I was having margaritas, a couple weeks I was taking shots, and I was definitely not taking my teas often. I was drinking caffeinated teas and coffees and a lot of fried foods. And this is not to say that the body can't be exposed to all of COVID and still be fine in the midst of that. But I think that in giving my body some TLC and much needed cleanse of the internal and just overall taking better care of it, it had less work to do. And I think it liked doing less work to maintain health. And that is what kind of made me vulnerable. And in no way, shape, or form am I trying to get back to that. I'm just explaining how a system works. It's adaptive. And I had given my system a nice break, like, sis, we do not have to fight for our lives. So I was not moving right. Not that I was moving wrong, but for myself, for the values that I have placed on myself and the standards of living and internal environment, I was not moving right. And I ended getting into a mild car accident, which off the bat just tells me I wasn't moving in alignment. And literally it was my tires that got fucked up. But after that night, I was feeling like, dang, like, I ain't got no 2022 car at all. But my little boo, she ain't never given me no problems. It was only up until this point that, something happened. And I'm like, okay, so Spirit, everybody, Grace Source, God, woo woo, my crew up there, I'm ready for, a cleanse. I'm ready to, refocus myself and restabilize myself in the way that I had established that had me right. And so the next night, I ended up feeling very like day was fine. And I usually do a lot of studying during the day, but something in me was just like, not today. And I'm like, okay, day off. We take breaks here. And my stomach just started feeling crazy. When I do get any kind of stomach pain, I know that my body likes correct posture and deep breathing. And it passes usually a lot more quickly. But this was just holding on. But I'm like, ooh, I do remember saying I'm ready for a cleanse. So this must be Spirit working through me. But let me straighten up my back, make this channel clear. But that lasted from like 5 p.m. to midnight. And I was eliminating mucus because I got me some tea like, oh, we're gonna nip this in the bud. I asked for this, but I also know that I've been given all that I need to get this cleanse moving. So the next day I woke up feeling like 80% better. And throughout the days, it got easier. But that next day, I also got a text message from a friend like, hey, I have COVID. Just want you guys to know. And I'm like, oh. So maybe it was both, like God will use anything to help get the thing, whatever is supposed to happen. Different entities will be introduced in order to affect that change or to inspire that change. So I'm like, okay, it could have just been like, some magical spiritual cleanse, or it also was like me getting possibly COVID, but like really. And so for the rest of the week, I'm like, all right, well, let me stay down. Let me see how everybody else is feeling. And I was seeing some friends were testing negative. So I'm like, I could still be straight, It could have just been a little spiritual cleanse. Also, so ever since I was younger, I was getting cold sores. And if you know cold sores, you know that they are the less severe version of the herpes simplex virus. Regardless, I just wanted to get that out in case some people was like, oh, she said cold sore and she's not. That is that. I know. Anyways, been getting them since I was young. And I've been taking supplements to keep them away, and literally had not gotten one for like a year after almost always getting them when the weather changes or when I was stressed out or when I would get a cold. But barely got them through COVID and like at all in the last year because I was on it, I was making changes. But eating all the peanuts in the world, like arginine who. But once I had that vulnerability in my body was just like, or cold sores was just like, pew, 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 pew. So if you've noticed my lips being broken out, this was the worst breakout that I had ever had like that I could remember to date, to where my mom was just like, girl, should you be in the hospital? And I'm just like, no, this is just how it goes. It's just a lot of them right now. But I could do this. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure that this is the last outbreak that I have. Because at this moment, I'm already like, okay, I thought it was just, the behaviors and all that. But we're going to get the diet together too. We're going to be cleansing and all of that. And then this happened. And I'm just like, I see you. So now, not only am I isolated because I know I was exposed to COVID, but I'm also down just like even social media wise. I'm not interacting. I am good. Lock it down. Like it's time to slow down. This was me being grounded because I was not moving in the way that I was supposed to. Long story shorter, I definitely, had to get back into, I ended up getting requests for clients, and I wanted to be sure that I didn't have COVID so that I can continue taking clients. And I just so happened not to have clients that week that I wasn't feeling good. So the next week was coming, and I'm just like, all right, so it's time for me to see if I got this thing. And I tested positive, and I was just like, damn, like, girl, you got God. I definitely am going to talk on blame and guilt in a separate video, but I was definitely feeling deflated at the moment, like, me? Like, I've definitely spoken on emotional things and insecurities and confidence, but my body? Oh no, we keeps it top tier. And I just felt like, damn, it couldn't have been me. But it was me, y'all. It was really me. And I was just like, wow, this was definitely eye-opening. And it could be me. It's me now. And so I definitely had to hit the chat like, y'all, I got to. You know what I'm saying? My business was put at risk, me being able to keep clients. Now, I did end up testing negative before I did take clients, but because I had waited about 10 days before I tested myself. But I was still like, well, can I go out? And I know that when it comes to the cold sores, I've definitely always had like listen, you might not even catch me at work or school because, ew, like this is disgusting. Knowing full well that in most parts of my life, I definitely didn't have control over how to regulate them. And then also just writing in my group chat, that was the hardest part. Like, y'all, I done got God. But I try to play it off, like, it is what it is. Because it is. But my own ego was really just having me like, no, we're not going to talk to or speak to anybody for like the next month when all of this is out of our system and everybody's forgotten, so we don't have to. And I'm just like, that's not even me being me. And quite honestly, like when I've developed friendships to where we see each other quite regularly, and I was just like, so you're really gonna hold yourself back on opportunities of connecting with the people that you love most over some shit that everybody has experienced? And like, are you gonna cut yourself off because of some regular stuff? And I had a couple of great people really just inspire me to just be real with myself, and be okay with my circumstances. And then I also was thinking like, I am not gonna be on social media, so me making this video exposing myself is actually kind of like, ooh. But I felt like this was a story that could be shared, and here's why. I feel it's important because when your ego is center stage, your true self is taking the passenger seat or the back seat. And like I said earlier, I do believe that your ego is a great defense mechanism, but the point is you're not always under attack. Sometimes things are happening for you and not to you, but your ego loves to see itself as being like you know how an ego can be, and your real self is just like, I'm just trying to live and enjoy life, and like experience, learn, grow, connect. And it took me, being in a position where I didn't see myself being, that allowed me to really just think about why I was then holding myself back and why I felt so ashamed. I mean, I would love for people to think of me as someone who takes care of themselves and who is living a healthier lifestyle, but I'm not consistent, or hadn't been consistent enough for that to even be the way that people see me. And people do see me as that, letting you know. It varies. But I definitely, in making this video and sharing, this is me being who I am. And honestly, I feel like this is a very authentic version of myself than I sometimes give, trying to be all peachy keen with the videos that I do make. Like, oh, I don't want to offend. Oh, I don't want to share too much and leave myself, vulnerable. But one, I'd like to say that when you do experience sickness, it is definitely an opportunity for you to either rise to the occasion, for you to allow, to get the sign that there is something lacking, that there is something missing. Or it's an opportunity for you to, hide in the trenches, let that thing just eat you out. And that's okay too, because this too shall pass. It's gonna pass either way, but I'm just like, skedaddle. But yeah, the ego definitely will keep you from where you want to be, because right now, connecting like this is what I love to do, and you ain't seen me doing that in months either. Like, so here I am, being more of who I am because of a situation that put me in a place where I never thought I would be. And there is just something poetically, ironically good and great about that, like, thanks adversity, thank you good God, thank you all my guides who heard me, because I do believe that both happened. I believe that it was a spiritual cleanse as well as a physical cleanse, and inspiration for me to get back to doing the things that secure me as an individual. Okay, because my body lives a top tier lifestyle, and we have a higher standard than we had before. Love the old South, but we're just moving along the path progressively, so I am going to take heed of that, and I've made some changes in my diet and my daily routine that I intend on maintaining to maintain my health and keep me in my most, or a very optimal position. And also, I feel like I've broken a barrier as far as speaking on things. Because, like, hey, listen, you pretty much know a lot about me at this point. So I would like to just say, all in all, here's to more consistency in 2022. Here's the magic coming through in the most unforeseen ways. Good old God is always providing in the mysteriousness. We love the unknown over here. And here is to us sharing and connecting. If you feel like you can relate, great. Let me know. If you want some immunity, which I told you one day, knock that shit out, okay? And if you feel like you would like to contribute to me, because you're like, damn, Naya, you really just contributed to me. Well, you can do so by hopping online and going to jobapothecary.com, where you can purchase any item for your physical wellness, aesthetics, or your own spiritual journey and cleansing, or you can donate. And I would appreciate all of it, because I love having lights on. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am very happy that we could connect in this way. Like, look at us being friends and whatnot. And I'm hoping to come back with some more very soon. So see ya. Peace, love, blessings, all that great. Let the divinity move through you. Okay. Hopefully it comes through smoothly. But Time for me to go.